Have you ever stood before a great stone castle? Have you ever looked up at the towering spires of a cathedral? You can almost hear the echoes of the past. These buildings are more than just old stone and wood. They are stories, they are monuments to a time long ago. People built them with their bare hands and simple tools. They lifted heavy stones high into the air. They carved intricate details with incredible skill. It seems almost impossible, doesn't it? Yet here they stand, centuries later, reaching for the sky, guarding ancient secrets within their massive walls. They are a mystery and a marvel, a testament to what people can achieve when they work together toward a grand vision. The beauty of these structures is breathtaking. Sunlight streams through stained glass windows, painting the stone floors with vibrant colors. In the Middle Ages, the world could be a dangerous and uncertain place. Lords and kings needed to protect their lands and their people from rival armies. The answer was the castle. A castle was not just a home. Thick stone walls, deep moats, tall towers designed for one primary purpose: defense. From behind the safety of these battlements, a small group of soldiers could hold off a much larger attacking force. A castle was a symbol of strength and security. It declared to the world that its owner was powerful and that their territory was protected. The castle became the center of the local community. While castles projected earthly power, cathedrals were built for a different reason. The most important material for any great medieval building was stone. Stone was strong, durable, fire-resistant. It was the perfect substance for constructing massive walls that could withstand enemy attacks and the simple passage of centuries. But not just any stone would do. They sought out the best limestone sandstone, quarrying it from the earth in huge blocks. These blocks were then roughly shaped at the quarry before being transported to the building site. This was a monumental task. Sledges, rollers, teams of oxen hauling the heavy cargo over miles of rough terrain. The construction of a castle or cathedral began with the most important and least visible part, the foundations. Before a single stone was laid for the walls, workers had to dig massive trenches, sometimes going down 20 feet to reach solid bedrock, sometimes going down 30 feet to reach solid bedrock. This was grueling work done with simple picks and shovels. If the ground was soft or marshy, they would drive dozens of thick wooden piles deep into the earth to create a stable base. The foundation trenches were then filled with a dense layer of rubble and rough stone, all packed together with mortar. A weak foundation meant certain doom for the building. At the heart of any medieval construction project were the masons. These were highly skilled and respected artisans who had dedicated their lives to the art of stone. There were different types of masons. The quarrymen, the rough masons, did the heavy work of cutting and moving the stones. Above them were the freestone masons, who worked with softer, finer stone like limestone. They were the artists who carved the intricate statues, the delicate window tracery, and the decorative moldings that adorned the building. The master mason was the architect, engineer, and project manager all in one. Equally important were the carpenters. While the masons worked with stone, the carpenters were masters of wood. They were responsible for a vast array of tasks that were essential for the construction process. They built the forest of scaffolding that encased the building as it grew. The vast majority of people on a building site, however, were the unskilled laborers. These were the men who performed the endless back-breaking work that made everything else possible. Windsor Castle is a perfect example of a fortress built for power and prestige. Originally, it was just a simple wooden motte and bailey castle built by William the Conqueror around 1070, but over the centuries it was transformed into the sprawling stone palace we know today. Its location was no accident. It commanded a key part of the River Thames and protected London from the west. King Henry II started the big change from wood to stone, building the iconic round tower right on its man-made mound. Later on, King Edward III spent a fortune, actually more than any other medieval English king on a single building, to remodel the castle into a grand stage for his new order of chivalry, the Order of the Garter. Windsor really shows how castle building evolved. The sheer scale of Windsor Castle is just incredible. It's the largest and oldest inhabited castle in the world. Now, while Windsor shows off earthly power, the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris stands for divine glory. The masons and carpenters of the Middle Ages might not have had power tools, but wow, they had a remarkable set of hand tools and a real knack for using them. The mason's toolkit included heavy hammers and wedges for splitting stone at the quarry, along with all sorts of chisels for more detailed shaping. They also used mallets, saws, and axes for the rougher work. For precision, they relied on some simple but really clever instruments. The plumb line, a weight on a string, made sure walls were perfectly vertical. The level, which was often just a wooden frame with a plumb line, helped keep courses of stone horizontal. And the mason's square, a basic L-shaped tool, guaranteed perfect right angles, which were super important for building stable corners. Carpenters had their own impressive set of hand tools. They used felling axes to chop down trees and broadaxes to square up the logs into beams. For bigger loads, they used the great treadwheel crane, a huge wooden wheel with a walkway inside. Many castles weren't just about thick walls and tall towers. They were packed with clever secret features. Secret passages were actually pretty common, though not as dramatic as in the movies. Usually they were small, hidden staircases built right into the walls, mural passages. They let defenders move quickly and unseen during a siege. Some castles also had hidden sally ports, small concealed doors at the base of a wall. A few soldiers could sneak out. They could launch a surprise attack, then slip back to safety. Another surprising feature was the garderobe, the medieval toilet, a small room or closet with a stone or wooden seat and a hole to the outside. Waste dropped down the wall into the moat or a cesspit. Not hygienic by today's standards, but practical. Cathedrals have hidden secrets too, more symbolic or whimsical. High on ledges and roofs, masons carved strange figures, gargoyles. The castles and cathedrals of the Middle Ages really stand as a powerful and lasting legacy. They're so much more than just piles of old stone. They're a direct link to our past. When you stand in the shadow of a castle keep or in the vast nave of a cathedral, you're actually sharing the same space as the knights, nobles, monks, merchants. These buildings have survived wars, fires, plagues, the slow wear of time, and they still tell us their stories. They teach us about how medieval society was structured, why defense was so important, the power of faith. Their stones don't just tell a story of the past, they whisper a lesson for the future.